2004 Indian Ocean earthquake and tsunami. On December 26, 2004, a massive undersea earthquake struck near Sumatra, Indonesia. It measured about 9.1 in magnitude, making it one of the strongest earthquakes ever recorded. The sudden movement of the ocean floor pushed huge amounts of water upward, creating powerful tsunami waves. Within minutes, waves raced across the Indian Ocean at speeds similar to a jet plane. Coastal cities and villages in Indonesia were hit first. Entire communities were swept away. Soon after, Sri Lanka, India, Thailand, and several other countries were struck. Many areas had no tsunami warning system at that time. People near the beaches did not understand what was coming. Some saw the ocean pull back suddenly, not realizing it was a warning sign. The waves destroyed homes, roads, hotels, and fishing boats. More than 230,000 people lost their lives across 14 countries. Millions were left homeless. The disaster led to the creation of better tsunami warning systems in the Indian Ocean, but it remains one of the deadliest natural disasters in modern history. 2011 Tohoku earthquake and tsunami. On March 11, 2011, a powerful 9.0 magnitude earthquake struck off the northeast coast of Japan. It was one of the strongest earthquakes ever recorded. Minutes later, a massive tsunami followed. Waves as high as 40 meters in some areas crashed into coastal cities. Entire neighborhoods were swept away. Cars, ships, and buildings were carried inland by the force of the water. Airports, highways, and train lines were destroyed within minutes. The tsunami also damaged the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant. Flooding caused reactor failures, leading to a nuclear accident that forced thousands of people to evacuate their homes. More than 15,000 people died, and many were never found. Hundreds of thousands were displaced. The 2011 Japan tsunami showed how quickly nature can overwhelm even one of the most prepared countries in the world. It changed Japan's disaster planning and nuclear safety policies forever. 1883 eruption of Krakatoa. In August 1883, the volcano Krakatoa in Indonesia erupted with enormous force. The explosion was so powerful that it was heard thousands of miles away. When the volcano collapsed into the sea, it pushed huge amounts of water outward, creating massive tsunami waves. Some waves reached over 30 meters high. Coastal towns and villages near the Sunda Strait were destroyed within minutes. Entire communities disappeared under the water. Ships were thrown far inland, and thousands of people had no chance to escape. The disaster killed more than 36,000 people. The shockwaves from the eruption traveled around the world, and ash in the atmosphere caused unusual sunsets for months. The Krakatoa tsunami remains one of the deadliest volcanic tsunamis in history. It showed how a single eruption can trigger destruction, not only from lava and ash, but also from powerful ocean waves. 1755 Lisbon earthquake and tsunami. On November 1, 1755, a massive earthquake struck Lisbon, Portugal. It was All Saints' Day, and many people were inside churches when the shaking began. Buildings collapsed across the city within minutes. After the earthquake, many survivors rushed toward the waterfront for safety, but soon the sea suddenly pulled back from the harbor. Moments later, a powerful tsunami rushed into the city. Huge waves flooded the streets and destroyed ships and homes near the coast. Fires then broke out and burned for days, adding to the destruction. The combination of earthquake, tsunami, and fire left much of Lisbon in ruins. An estimated 30,000 to 50,000 people died. The disaster shocked Europe and changed how governments and scientists studied earthquakes. The Lisbon tsunami remains one of the earliest recorded examples of how multiple natural forces can combine to destroy an entire city. 1960 Valdivia earthquake and tsunami. On May 22, 1960, a massive 9.5 magnitude earthquake struck southern Chile. It remains the strongest earthquake ever recorded. The shaking lasted several minutes, collapsing buildings and triggering landslides across the region. Soon after, a powerful tsunami formed along Chile's coastline. Huge waves destroyed coastal towns and ports within minutes. Entire communities were flooded. Boats were carried inland, and homes were swept away. But the impact did not stop in Chile. The tsunami traveled across the Pacific Ocean, reaching Hawaii, Japan, and the Philippines hours later. In Hawaii, waves destroyed homes and caused further deaths. Thousands of people died, and millions were affected. The disaster caused widespread damage across multiple countries. The 1960 Chile tsunami showed that powerful ocean waves can cross entire oceans and strike far from where the earthquake begins. It remains one of the most important events in the study of tsunamis. 1896, Sanriku earthquake and tsunami. On June 15, 1896, a strong earthquake occurred off the coast of northeastern Japan. The shaking on land felt relatively mild, so many people did not expect a major disaster. But about 30 minutes later, a massive tsunami reached the Sanriku coastline. The waves were enormous, some reaching nearly 38 meters high in certain areas. Fishing villages were destroyed within minutes. Homes made of wood were no match for the force of the water. Many residents were gathered for a festival when the tsunami arrived, increasing the number of victims. More than 22,000 people lost their lives. Entire communities were wiped out. The Sanriku tsunami became known as a tsunami earthquake, where the shaking feels weaker than expected, but the waves are extremely powerful. It remains one of Japan's deadliest natural disasters, and a reminder that the danger does not always match the strength of the tremor. 1998 Papua New Guinea tsunami. On July 17, 1998, a strong earthquake struck off the northern coast of Papua New Guinea. The earthquake itself was not extremely powerful compared to others in history, measuring around 7.0 magnitude. However, it triggered a large underwater landslide. That landslide pushed huge amounts of water upward, creating a powerful tsunami. Within minutes, waves up to 15 meters high crashed into small coastal villages near Itapi. Many people were asleep when the water hit. Entire communities were swept away before residents could escape. Homes made of wood and simple materials were easily destroyed. More than 2,000 people were killed, and thousands more were left homeless. The disaster shocked scientists because it showed how underwater landslides can create deadly tsunamis even when the earthquake itself is not extremely large. The 1998 Papua New Guinea tsunami remains one of the most tragic and sudden coastal disasters in modern history. 1946, Aleutian Islands earthquake and tsunami. On April 1, 1946, a powerful earthquake struck near the Aleutian Islands in Alaska. The quake triggered a massive tsunami that moved quickly across the Pacific Ocean. Several hours later, the waves reached Hawaii. In the city of Hilo, many people were unaware of the danger. The ocean suddenly pulled back, exposing the seafloor. Soon after, a large wall of water rushed toward the shore. The tsunami destroyed buildings, bridges, and homes along the coastline. Entire sections of Hilo were flooded. More than 150 people were killed, most of them in Hawaii. The disaster revealed how vulnerable coastal cities were to distant earthquakes. As a result, the Pacific Tsunami Warning Center was later established to monitor ocean activity and provide early alerts. The 1946 tsunami did not only destroy parts of Hawaii, it changed how the world prepares for tsunami threats. 365 Crete earthquake and tsunami. In the year 365 AD, a massive earthquake struck near the island of Crete, in the Mediterranean Sea. The quake was extremely powerful and caused parts of the island to rise several meters. Soon after the earthquake, a huge tsunami formed and spread across the Mediterranean. Coastal cities in Greece, Egypt, and Libya were hit by powerful waves. In Alexandria, Egypt, ships were thrown far inland, and buildings near the shore were destroyed. Historical records describe widespread panic and massive destruction. Entire neighborhoods were flooded within minutes. Thousands of people were killed. At that time, there were no warning systems or scientific understanding of tsunamis. The disaster shocked the Roman world and was recorded by ancient historians. The 365 Crete tsunami remains one of the most destructive natural disasters of the ancient world, showing that even centuries ago, the ocean had the power to wipe out entire cities in a single day. 1707 Hawaii earthquake and tsunami. On October 28, 1707, a massive earthquake struck southern Japan during the Edo period. It is known as the Hawaii earthquake and is considered one of the largest in Japanese history. Soon after the powerful shaking, a massive tsunami followed. Large waves crashed into coastal cities along the Pacific coast, especially in areas like Shikoku and Honshu. Homes, temples, and ports were destroyed. Fishing villages were wiped out, and farmland was flooded with salt water, damaging crops for years. Thousands of people lost their lives. The damage spread across a wide area, affecting both major towns and small coastal communities. The earthquake also increased pressure on Mount Fuji, which erupted weeks later. The 1707 Hawaii tsunami remains one of Japan's most devastating early disasters, showing how powerful earthquakes along subduction zones can create widespread destruction both on land and at sea.